ownership of myself. I can build. The person बोलता है अरे बूढ़ा हो गया क्या बनाएगा साहब. That's all. तो मेरा तो मैं भी बाल काला नहीं करता हूँ. मेरे को जरूरत नहीं तो 60 काला बनता हूँ. तो
thank you all. Thank you so much for coming for this event on the first simulation conference from Cadfem and Ansys. So let me first introduce about Cadfem. So we are a German company. So we are a worldwide distributor from Ansys. So we are there with Ansys from the last 35 years. And we have started our India operation from the last 10 years. So currently we are the long-term partner with Ansys, and we basically do all sort of analysis, whether it's from structural, CFD, electromagnetics, or SBU in the sense embedded systems, optics, photonics. So this session we have organized first of all first to gather all your information on the Ansys technologies and what are out there in Ansys technology for the simulation things, and to basically introduce all our existing customers as well, how they are helping Ansys to solve their problems. So let's start our session. So let me welcome to our first customer from Mr. Tapan Misra sir. Mr. Tapan Misra sir is not a new name in this space sectors. He is basically the ex-ISRO director, and he has started his new company called Sisir Radars, who is basically trying to solve the problem of synthetic aperture radars. And they are into a very niche technologies, and they are in the very growing stage. And they are solving these problems of the synthetic aperture radars. They are currently working on the antennas design, and trying to solve the problem of crop insurance as well. So let's welcome our first guest, Mr. Tapan Misra sir. Let's hear from us how he has developed his new startups after retiring from ISRO, and what the thing he basically motivates whenever he basically awake in a day, what the things he basically motivates, and how he motivates his team members, and how he has developed this niche technology deep tech startup that we call to him. So let's welcome our first guest speaker, Mr. Tapan Misra sir.
good evening. Yes. In fact, when I founded my company, a lot of people from Bangalore, from Chennai, they sent people here, asked me secretly why I have come to Kolkata. I always reserve this reasoning to myself. But I am proud that I am the Eklota deep tech invest company. We have a plan to do it because we have a product of first time very large bandwidth GPR. It's a 350 megahertz to 6 gigahertz GPR, which is already creating buzz in the market. And also will be flying for the world's very few low height synthetic aperture radars targeted towards agriculture and mining applications. And we have a big ambition of building maybe 30 plus satellite constellation. And we are going to build our new campus in Nihati. Isn't all the places are very known to all of us? Isn't it? They are all big names in industry, worldwide, and everybody. And they are very one thing common. They are all employees. None of them are the original entrepreneurs. They are all employees. And it's but natural. That is what the Macaulay wanted us to be. Isn't it? in blood, in color, and in everything we should be Indian, but in thought we should be British. And there is a lot of uncomfortable questions. We may all claim we are big software powers, but fact is we hardly have any branded software. We have, an manufacture an array of 2.5G fighter aircrafts in India, but we have none of the aircrafts of our own. We make wings, doors, tails, legs of aircraft, but we have no commercial aircraft. And we have feel so proud, we make tails of Boeing aircraft. And and we don't have even indigenous data servers. We hardly have very high capacity data servers. This is one, and we are getting that 5G days, In all the way back 2016, I have heard in Beijing presentation of 6G, and today I was chairing the URSS symposium. Then I come back, and today I stand here, and we are all jumping. We are getting 5G, and that too speed. And you see that all the components and everything, the ground stations and all are Chinese origin, imported. We don't make any of them. In fact, surprisingly, today's date is the date of microwave engineering, and we hardly teach microwave engineering any of the IITs and colleges. And that's the beauty of the. And we have so many VLSI papers in transaction, you'll see, but we don't have a foundry. We can draw good layouts, all the masks we can make and all, but we cannot make any of these machines, which can do the laser foundry machines. We have to most of them are imported from Netherlands. And I've been frequenting Israel quite often. Today, India is the third and is the second biggest importer of armaments. And 30% of them come from Israel. And you take a car in Israel, in 4 hours you go from one end to another end. And its population is 1.5 times. You have 50% more than what is in Ahmedabad, where I stayed for. And they supply all the sophisticated radars, they supply all the fighter, they supply a lot of fighter aircraft components, they supply many things to India. And I always believe, that in your family, happiness depends on your neighbor. If the neighbor is very rich, you have an unhappy family. If neighbor is poor, you feel very proud of having nothing and coming out of the house. That's exactly happened with the China around. Actually, we were both poor for almost 10 years, but 1985, Deng Xiaoping did a change in the administrative processes and to enable industrialization, and the net result has certainly started growing, and the curves of India's per capita GDP, they started growing separately. And if you remember those in the 90s of my age, that in early 90s and the late 80s, there was a lot of strife in India. There's a lot of Mandal Commission, Kamandal Commission, and every other thing. And all, if you analyze, it's only because of dissatisfaction of our Indians vis-a-vis their neighbors, whom they used to think, अरे अब तो हमारा जैसा ही है, और हमसे भी खराब है. And the moment Narasimha Rao took up a similar industrial administrative reforms, and India also started growing. And that 10 years, every political situation in India started coming down and all. And you see, in 2000s, suddenly there's a growth curve of China got an inflection and we are not able to match it. That means they did something different. That's that they brought out a huge amount of innovations in every other thing. Today, suddenly, at one time we used to say in my childhood, ये तो जापानीज है कितना बढ़िया है. In my father generation, they used to say that जापानीज है तो खराब होगा, वो खाली पेंसिल बना सकते. But we found, we were getting or Walkman and everything that today's children all see that everything produced in China and feel proud. हमारा बेटा काम करता है सेंक्शन पे ना, तो कितना चाइनीज अच्छा है ना. And say we had I think we were the third biggest pool of doctors in our country, isn't it? And just look at the patents granted to Chinese and Indian entities and individuals. We are growing at a good rate, but look at the ratios. We are actually very less in this. And that is where that the innovation is the key. All my university professor colleagues, I have taught in varieties, and I used to feel very amused. People are proud. I am the seventh author of this paper, that transaction paper. I am the ninth author of another transaction paper, and all this pride is there. And we gave away all of our knowledges by giving away, having PhD examiners from USA, UK, and Germany. And whatever we did, our PhDs in 3-4 years work, we are capital with 3 months. If you give me a PhD thesis on a radar, whatever we done in 4 years, I can absorb in 1 month. You have come to that mature stage. And it's surprising, they say, we blame everything on the government. Government doesn't invest. Actually, private is also no better than government as far as the investment is concerned. And as a percentage of GDP, our R&D investment is remaining very stagnant. It's around 0.6%. And another very interesting thing, the more the per capita GDP, the more is the investment in R&D. You see, it's a very catch-22 situation. You are poor because you don't invest in R&D, and you don't invest in R&D because you are poor. That's a catch-22 situation. So, it's anything we want to break up this country really has to put an investment in R&D. But I must appreciate that the government has taken a lot of initiatives and measures for enabling investment. And one of the biggest things is that every year they are restricting the hardware which you can import. One was done by Ghulam Singh Yadav, way back, by making sure that all the 40% of armament production, contract is manufactured in India. The next is this modification for the policies which has come. And we have initially the government, you said that we have all this land running all over, a lot of gearboxes and all. Make in India. Make in India is a knockdown hardware import and remanufacturing. It's like, when you do that Make in India, let us see the aircraft. Rafale. We feel very proud, this Rafale. You make that engine and the central computer, it has to be brought from France, otherwise it will not run. So that's the word. And government made a correction, they replaced it with Made in India. That's the Atmanirbhar program, because if you say Make in India, then you say Made in India, I have done a correction. Instead they said it an Atmanirbhar program. And that's the right way, that's a deep tech technologies to be developed. But still the confusion, in our country, we have a lot of confusion what we do, this, our academics, there's the professors built up careers on, the summer sabbaticals, papers, because we think that if anything has not been done in foreign countries, then we cannot do. We can be only a second follower. But if you say that, something Americans have done, we can add another paragraph to that work. So that's the one mentality which is to change and build up of innovation culture. I sometimes feel very bad because universities and all see the innovation centers and headed by a person who hardly has done any original work or built anything. And that's the very pathetic situations you see that. But this is a changing scenario. You will change that. And that entrepreneur culture, I without a loss of respect, there's a कोई शक्कर बेचता है, इधर से शक्कर लाता है, शक्कर वही दाम पे बेचता है, बोरा का भाव लेके बोलता है मेरा प्रॉफिट है। हम बोलते हैं बड़ी बिजनेस, बड़ी एंटरप्रेन्योर, उसमें करोड़ों मिल सकता है, करोड़ों का रुपए का बोरा लाता है। So we thought that I was in ISRO because I had all the vices which I am pointing it out, but I did exactly better in ISRO. And I will change the sides and I want to see the fun of the game. We decided to build radar with a motto which has not been built before and probably has not been built in the world. I must say that already, as I told we are first time we built a really hyperspectral and microwave and a GPR. And you will see many new products which will be coming. So we established Sisir radar and Sisir radar, तो हमारे इधर के कुत्ता का नाम भी टॉमी रख देते हैं। तो हम कंपनी बनाते तो कैसे भी एक एंग्लिसाइज, रोमन, ग्रीक, सब ग्रीक गॉडेस सब रखते हैं। तो I thought to put it in the name of Professor Sisir ke Misra, the founder of Radio Physics Department of Kolkata, and who has been nominated for Nobel Prize for 3 times, and who has actually measured the height of atmospheric layers and discovered the sporadic D layer, which we used to call the C layer, and also discovered the D layer. And E and F layer was discovered by Appleton. And he used a principle which is actually very, very akin to radar measurement. He used first time, you can use microwave to measure distance. This paper came out in Nature in 1935, and Watson Watt committee, headed by Watson Watt, grandson of James Watt, great grandson James Watt, that is a 1937 radar. So, we'll build, let's say, normally people go in the pyramid, bottom up approach. So every time you go and add, then you go up. Like any organization, we join as a very junior engineer, then build something and all, and more we become experience, we grow up in that organization. But we thought that we would build first the top of the pyramid, the synthetic aperture, so it becomes a overall gamut. It covers the gamut of signal processing, hardware, speed, resolution, everything. And then any other smaller versions will be much easier to build. They become subsets. So we went other way around. Let's say as a product, how to build it up. And That's my personal experience. A man who carries a cat by the tail learns something he can learn in no other way. Because those who have not built traders, they can give lot of advices. But I have built traders, which are still pride of the country. I found that everything you build new technology, a new person, this is a different science and different physics altogether. And all your previous experience, biodata has no meaning. I may have a good biodata, but if you ask me personally, it has no meaning to me building this new deep state startup because I am discovering every day a newer things. We are building newer and newer hardware and building newer and newer concepts and algorithms. And we thought that they will focus on leadership. Because leadership, because one may say that innovation, you hire very bright people, good academic career, you get innovation. No, because channelize the power of mind in a particular direction, you need a proper leadership. And one of the condition, they have the ethical. So we don't give weightage to ethical, जेब से आटा चुराए तो देखने का नहीं, कल वो 5 रुपए चुराएगा, कल 500 रुपए चुराएगा, तो जब आटा न चुराए तभी पकड़ना होता है। हम विद्यासागर का भोपाल स्टोरी है। That's the one. And the ethical quotient, we don't give much quotient, that is why we many times copy somebody's hardware usually. Any presentation material like me, you will find many times try to copy from it another somebody's material instead of our originality. It's our culture. Somehow it is shifting because but for space industry I have understood if you want to build in hardware of 100%, no hardware is only worth the engineer behind it and his ethical values. If is नहीं तो छोटे छोटे में कॉम्प्रोमाइज कर देंगे, नट बोल्ट में कॉम्प्रोमाइज कर देंगे, हार्डवेयर will fail. And this is a very famous work by Subramaniam Swamy. The Subramaniam Swamy's equations, that he is a lot of politics, but he is also economist. And he established that by sometimes refurbishing management culture, you can output of the organization can be build up, but then it is to some extent. And you'll see that like government of India gave back this Air India to Tatas. It's not the same aircraft, same manpower, everything. Only they have changed the top management and a certain operation culture, which they expect it to perform, and yes, it is performing quite nicely, and it's improvement. But these are delta improvements should be there. And while building this startups and all, we must build that there should be not there we should not have this complacency of supporting inefficiency. If you find that fellow is useless, just check him out. It's important because you are not going to run a joint family. If you run a joint family, you get a tax concession. But then that we also, lot of people survive on only efforts of a few people. And that's the organization cannot be run. So also you wanted to give a disruptive product offering, because a space scientist to look for a satellite star. But then I actually, because within all my expertise in space and building star and all, we found we have built fantastic instruments for for synoptic observation. इस साल गेहूँ कितना बनेगा, कितना होगा, चावल होगा क्या नहीं, हमको ब्राजील से गन्ना import करना पड़ेगा. I'm sorry, I'm changing Hindi and but then that's that one. It's a synoptic view of that technology. But when it comes to focusing technology on individual applications, like we don't have a good way of monitoring the crop production on a daily basis. So हमने क्या करते हैं? We don't give that crop insurance. So we give 6,000 rupees PM Kisan Yojana. And the fellow who loses crop, for him the 6,000 rupees is useless. The fellow who gets a good crop, for him also the 6,000 rupees is useless. Because we are not able to focus the money of the insurance, so we give it to all. Chalo 500 rupees le lo. So that sort of thing, it's not going to serve this our economy. That's the only way to have a good focusing, and that's possible through a system to measure this in a regular parameters. And we decided we go to the drone-based one because the technology is such a one you can bring down the cost. Because we wanted to bring down the cost by a factor of almost 20 per square kilometer. That is, and we did a very cost analysis study, because and many people will think, aircraft and drone तो एक ही बराबर है, but drone का भाव 10 लाख और aircraft का भाव 100 करोड़ है. So you have to make a choice. And obviously, if you have a built-in hardware with a technology, sometimes slightly less reliable technology is actually at the end of the day much cheaper. If you have a way to replace them, and drones are very classical. If you have poorer technology is a component quality, you actually save in pricing by a factor of 100 than a space quality. And reliability suffers maybe by 2%. Instead of a 90% becomes 88% if you calculate the reliability. So we thought we'll go by these preferences with a drone star, and we'll bring out cost very, very significantly lower than in the market cost. Colleagues are. If I don't have good colleagues, I am also as worthless as my colleagues. So it's important who to select, because nowadays, even IIT entrance का भी कोई भरोसा नहीं है, सब टिक पर बोला है. Even if you take everything at A, your chances are that you will get almost 25% marks. And because it's a probability, driven by the probability. One can blindly take every A and come back, you will get 25%. That chances are that you will get maybe 19, 20. And if that 25% marks is a very good one, you might get a rank within 10,000. Who knows? That's the one. So we have chosen the initial employees, based on the grasping power, not by knowledge. Because knowledge is today's date, we are closing down libraries because knowledge is now available in pockets. Earlier days, to get to know, we have to really search in libraries, go to PRL, if some transaction there, go so. Today you get it on the mobile. And people have stopped reading books. You may feel bad, we are losing the culture of reading books. But I don't feel bad because I am getting the same knowledge, same flavor by a different way, in a Kindle or a mobile. So instead, we look for people who can grasp. If I read 10 pages, I can grasp it in 3 minutes or not. That's the way. So we basically made our interview as a testing of the grasping power we selected, and in a wide variety of people. And they say every innovation is not a good one. They say Apple did an innovation for very long, they were stagnant, even with the old Apple MacBook. And the moment they made a much cheaper product like an iPod, then suddenly they started growing. And when they made a mobile, which is a much lesser technology than that whatever their MacBook is there, their turnover started increasing. And sometimes excellent innovation, if it is not favored by market, then also it is not useful. The classic example, Nano. In fact, the Nano is so good. If I have driven, it is so ergonomic. Even the Sardarjis can sit inside, the Tapan will not hit the ceiling of the car and everything, but the Nano was not successful. Because the aspiration of the country has changed entirely. They are no longer scooter boat, they want Alto or higher cars. And that moment you give a slightly better version of scooter, nobody likes it. That's the one it lost it out. And that's one of the major bottlenecks is the investors. I'll not say, अब मेरे से कोई 10 रुपया मांगे मैं थोड़ी दूंगा, मैं भी गिनती करके देता हूँ ना, तो दूसरे किस बात से देंगे? The problem is that you see, मेरे को आज एक जोमेटो बनाने का तो सब आज आ जाएंगे, ट्यूशन स्कूल खोलने का है तो पैसा लेके आ जाएंगे, चलो, because students are each standard market, standard product, it's there is a site addition, maybe अच्छा software दिया and all of that, but a deep tech, that because suddenly people find they do not understand what is the deep tech, ये success होगा क्या नहीं and all. It's that why security funds difficult for deep tech startups. It is actually from the Nobel Prize of 2001 in economics, the information asymmetry by Stiglitz and the team. And the problem is that the people who want to say, I go with a very high estimate of myself. I can build. The person who says, "अरे बूढ़ा हो गया क्या बनाएगा साहब?" That's all. तो मेरा तो मैं भी बाल काला नहीं करता हूँ, मेरे को जरूरत नहीं तो 60 काला पहनता हूँ. तो but similarly this is the overestimation of an underestimation. And you say, if I give a rightful project सैटेलाइट थोड़ी इतना कॉस्ट पे बनता है, आप तो इंडियन काय बना लेते हैं, सैटेलाइट इतना महंगी होती है, सैटेलाइट कॉस्ट अ लॉट, बट the funding agencies do not want to give, and I have faced with many issues, so because today we have a very amorphous funding agencies, a lot of people come in a very different, कोई बहुत अच्छा गेहूं बेचता था मंडी पे, उसका पास से बहुत पैसा आ गया, वो भी आ गया टेक्नोलॉजी स्टार्टअप में डालना, तो ऐसा सब होता है, so it's very a problem. And this is our schooling and this college process is, they do not teach us to do the out of box thinking. ये बहुत सभी ने बोलते हैं out of box, पर किसी को पता नहीं box क्या है. दुनिया भर पे सब out of box, अब जहीं पे तो आई एम अहमदाबाद जाता हूँ out of box. अब कहीं देखो पढ़ाने का स्टाइल वही box वाला ही है, बंधा हुआ, and with a Schrödinger equation, until unless you catch it, you don't know it is alive or dead. That cat is. So, but this is what needed to have a departure in a thought process and all. Is it possible to? मैंने मेरे पास कुछ छोकरे आए थे ऑफिस के, वो बोलते थे वो 10 माइक्रोन का मेशनिंग एक्यूरेसी का मेशनिंग चाहिए. मैं देखा फाइल आया 2.5 करोड़ का है, सुजीत जैसा कोई दे दिया फाइल और ऑफिस बैंक, पर उसमें नीचे छोटा लिखा हुआ है, it needs a vibration isolated flooring and it needs air condition plus minus 2 degrees centigrade and 23 degree plus minus 2 degrees, सब मिला के 7 करोड़ का धंधा बन जाता है. एंड हम तो क्या है, हम ऐसे उल्लू है तो हम फेंक दिए फाइल, तो हम कॉल दिस पीपल एंड प्रॉब्लम क्या है, देन आई अंडरस्टूड a CNC machine is built by 3 sets of expertise who do not respect each other. One is the mechanical engineers, एक है इलेक्ट्रिकल ड्राइव का इंजीनियर और एक सॉफ्टवेयर, एंड दिस 3 सेट्स ऑफ इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज में से एक दूसरे को पसंद नहीं करते, ये क्या थोड़ा सा ये वो, एंड दिस होल प्रोसेस व्हाट हैपेंस, there is an orthogonality problem in the mechanical assembly and there is a non-linearity in the drive and the guides, and the software fellow doesn't know anything of the mechanics, उसको engineering drawing ही पढ़ने आता नहीं है, वो program लिखता है चलो command S तो इतने मूव करेगा, but you can actually measure keep an inverted a corrected values correct as a command and you can go to the right place. That is the calibrating. So What is that? We picked up 3 mechanicals and sent them to rudimentary drive because drive doesn't need much of a knowledge, and then the programming also doesn't need much of the CNC programming is the one of the simplest one, which is derided the most, but it does a fantastic job. And these 3 boys built up a machine which was actually 6.8 micron accuracy. And we built terahertz components. And recently, I was very happy when I informed by the director SAC that they have sent a 183 gigahertz sounder built on the high end of millimeter wave. Built it. The components are very narrow and initial accuracy, fine machining accuracies, and they sent it built on that machine. And it cost actually less than 10 lakhs. तो गाइड का भाव तो 1000 रुपये आता है, 35,000 रुपये 1 मीटर का गाइड आता है. Similarly, this space people, are very sophisticated people, And in our country, if you don't make things big, costly, you are not valued. आप घोड़े पे करके जाएंगे, घोड़े व्हाइट होना चाहिए. वो तो गधे पे भी जा सकते हैं शादी के लिए. शादी वही होती है. कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है.
घोड़ा तो दौड़ता नहीं है.
घोड़ा गधे भी नहीं दौड़ता है. And that it doesn't matter. So what we actually what the GIS Act, you have to take it to the space. 36,000 kilometers से to see that we wanted a 40 meter resolution. सबने बोला इसके लिए 1.3 meter डाया का mirror चाहिए. And this is zero dot is a special class of glass. And getting a 1.3 meter reflector, actually you need almost a 6 or by 8 meter of zero dot cast. And it has to be cooled. Its cooling takes almost 8 months. Machining takes 1 year, which is 24 hours. You get that mirror after 2.5 years. And मैं तो ऑप्टिकल में मास्टर नहीं हूँ. मेरा वेवलेंथ है सब सेंटीमीटर पे, मीटर पे. और if you go to ऑप्टिकल फेलोस, वो तो नैनोमीटर से नीचे बात, ऊपर बात ही नहीं करते. कुछ भी बोलो 40 खुद कौन दिखा नैनोमीटर. And this I told भाई और मोबाइल पे क्या है, देखो मोबाइल पे पिन होल कैमरा रहता है. इससे पूछते very coarse resolution. It is sampled at a high sampling rate, and the super resolve algorithm was, and whosoever is better super resolve algorithm, उसका मोबाइल उतना अच्छा है. Android S20 का algorithm is better, so the camera looks better. 4 कैमरा दिया तो सिग्नल टू नॉइज रेशियो बढ़ा है, तो रूट S2 में बढ़ा, रूट 4 में बढ़ गया है सिग्नल टू नॉइज रेशियो. And this is all it happened. And we built actually 350 mm mirror, which is a resolution of 250 meters. We built at sampled at a spacing of 30 meters, and we super resolved it, and we actually tracked a PSLV launch very precise in one position. I'm not showing the video, and you can see what was captured and what was super resolved out of it. Everything need not be physical. There should be metaphysical things there in the life. Ramakrishna Paramahansa, they've told, but nobody believes. So the signal processing is the metaphysical part. You can change it, but most of the engineers who are the real hardware engineers, unko to signal processing, nobody studies this Fourier transform and all those things. That is the biggest issue. And Vivekananda said, take risk in your life. If you win, you can lead. And if you lose, you can guide. So we have a lot of PhD guides. And that's the one, actually, when I started building the RI site, we proposed, that's the देश पे एमएमआईसी कहाँ बनता है, and that one radar of this quality is actually cost 1800 crores, and my गधे जैसा है जो लिख दिया, it will be made by the brown people in our country. अभी कौन brown people बनाएगा? And actually developed a series of technology. Today that's the space industry. And we actually set the standard of RI sat, that is radar. So the synthetic aperture radars, because it is done no, वो इंडिया पे बना तो ठीक है, वो आसानी हो गई. But actually it's at a standard. It is given a first time in 3-band 1 meter resolution. We made a spotlight. Standard was 5 by 5 kilometer. We made 10 by 100 kilometer. We made the first time that a polarimeter is available in all the bands. And today you have radars, which are after RISAT. These radars dimensions and all you see configuration, they start mimicking RISAT. I call it a before AD and BC, like a before reset and after reset radar technology in the global. And one of my great, if you say that what is my best thing we've done, right, that is a scatterometer. It measures actually today the cyclone, where it will hit, we know it very precisely. We don't have a death like a 1999 Odisha cyclone. Today cyclone news comes at the 5th page, पहला page पे तो वो murder रहता है. But the last page पे cyclone news, so you don't see that. And the credit goes to that the scatterometer we built, but it's not that it's a radar which measures a signal at a -10 to -15 dB SNR. And from that it estimates wind vector and direction so precisely. Today we can say the cyclone is going to hit the coast with a ±5 kilometer accuracy. So government has to move only few number of people instead of the पूरा मिदनापुर खाली करने का जगह. Lot of MNCs which are in your competition, they will be trying to sabotage it. मेरा personal experience है, I know that. And and in fact we are actually not prepared, Indian companies, to tackle industrial espionage. We think, और हम technical कर लिया तो वो नहीं. They have an industrial experience of centuries from the James Watt days. So they have also perfected industrial espionage, and we don't have this. And surprisingly, in India, huge amount of industrial espionage occurs, which are actually designed to kill any deep tech startup. Because if you start competing with others, so don't always feel that we are poor, but there is many numerous ways of killing deep tech startup. And I must say that Churchill is not very of my favorite, but one of, because I blame him for the 1943 Bengal famine, which killed more people than in World War II. And we are afraid to call it out. But prophecy I see, the equality of mankind is a myth. Equality of opportunity is a possibility. And no other people than people from Bengal knows. We have lost decades of industry just to look for equality equality in the outcome, instead of providing equality in the opportunity. But today's date, it's a question of equality of opportunity, and it's the right time, but better late than never, to take up this opportunity of an environment of startup, and our people can build fantastic things. And one thing, many people who are afraid, करो तो क्या होगी. In fact, मैंने जब कंपनी चालू करने गया, मेरा पेंशन ही हाथ में था. And the government, if we are honest, let me tell you, a pension is only worth 3-bedroom flat. And with that, if you start, and your wives remind you at night, कल पैसा उड़ गया तो क्या करोगे, खाओगे किधर? This sort of thing. And we actually trusted. In fact, I somehow casual my son and daughter-in-law to live very, very, paying. Go to the last slide. The paying industry and join me, and surprising of surprise, that's a. आप चलते रहो तो कारवा बनता जाता है. And I have found that people very, very, from people who blame Bengal for everything, from governance to everything. Surprisingly, I found very good cooperation from government. I found very good cooperation from people. I got bright engineers here and scientists. In fact, one of the great American radar company, which is in Chennai based, they sent their one Bengali employees. ये बंगालियों से काम होता है क्या पता करना, but it surprisingly it came. I think as you move on with honesty and all, you don't have to leave everything to the God, but things somehow fall in place and it makes your effort better and better. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Sir, you take one movement for you. Just
Okay.
do not leave the dice. Just a minute. Sir, those who know, they don't know about Sisir Data. Let me tell you, Sisir Data is one of the proud moments for West Bengal because this company is such a deep tech startup. They are competing worldwide. So they don't have competition in India. So they are competing in worldwide. So I believe Sisir Data is our proud for West Bengal, like we have Howrah Bridge as a proud. So thank you so much, sir. I think your session was so much informative and your example was so much good. I think people will remember your example, and I think they will also quote somewhere your example.
Oh, you can quote me, but not the bad words.
Sir, another one moment. Let me call Mr. Misra from Ansys, East India. Let me welcome our guest speaker with the goodies. Even we have to check as well. Surprise for us.
एक बार क्या हुआ था, देहरादून पे मेरे को दे दिया गिफ्ट और एयरपोर्ट पे पकड़ लिया, वो खोखरी दिया था गिफ्ट में। तो मैं बोल उसके से खुद को छुटकाने निकला था।
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.